Dua. Okay, so once he's making lots of dua to Allah Ta'ala, one of the things that he's going to asking for is رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً.
We didn't do the last bit of 200.
Did we do 200?
We did the first half, not the second one.
Okay, so
Someone in now.
okay, so فَإِذَا قَضَيْتُمْ مَنَاسِكَكُمْ فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ. After you finished all the main things, the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, you finished all the main acts of your Hajj. Allah says after that, فَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا. There's going to be some people there whose Hajj is not accepted, who make dua to Allah but Allah doesn't accept them. Why? Because their focus is purely on dunya. They say رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَقٍ. And for him there is nothing, no portion, khalaq, nothing waiting for him in the hereafter. So we don't want to be of these people. But from amongst them, Allah says, from amongst those people who perform the Hajj, مِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً, are those people who say, oh Allah, give us in this dunya hasana, good, وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ hasana, and in the hereafter good, وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ, and save us from the torment, protect us from the torment of the fire. So this is, again, combining three things. In other words, that the Muslims would see the mushriks performing their Hajj, and they think, well, look, they're making dua to Allah. Aren't these people religious? Won't these people go in paradise? They truly believe in Allah, they've sacrificed so much to come to Makkah, and they're mushriks, and they're still... Allah says, no. These people, and outwardly, they are only asking for their dunya needs. In reality, they're not asking for the hereafter, because you can only ask for the hereafter if you believe in Allah. If you don't believe in Allah, you're not truly asking for the hereafter. And the Muslims, what do? Three things. They ask for dunya, because without dunya, you can't have a hereafter. If you don't have your dunya, you won't be able to worship Allah properly. Number two, they ask for the hereafter, because if you don't have a hereafter, then your dunya is waste. And number three is you never guarantee yourself that you're going to be saved. It doesn't matter, even if you study in a sufa, even if you study here, even if you've done all these hajjs and everything, you can't guarantee that Allah is going to save you. So you have to ask Allah for protection from the azab of the fire. So these are three things that we combine. And the Prophet ﷺ would read this dua the most. Aisha radiallahu anha would say, this is the most common dua that he would recite. And this is a dua that is for all you. Okay. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ نَصِيبٌ مِمَّا كَسَبُوا. Allah says, for them meaning who? Both parties. For them and for them. For them is a portion of what they have earned, or from their earning. In other words, if you're a believer, you've worked hard, you've struggled, you strove, you've done all these things for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, Allah is not going to let your deeds go to waste. Allah is going to give you. Allah doesn't let anyone's deeds go to waste. You might think Allah is not watching, you might think you've been doing all these things for years and Allah hasn't acknowledged you in any way with a lightning bolt or something. But Allah does acknowledge you. So, and also those people who are disobedient, Allah also knows what they're doing as well. So they're going to get a portion of what they have earned as well. Wallahu sari'ul hisab. And Allah is very swift in carrying out the account. This could mean two things. That the hisab in the dunya, meaning that Allah gives you the consequences of your actions in the dunya and in the hereafter as well. So someone might say, you know what, I've done so much, how can Allah do all my accounts? I want too much. Allah won't get me. You're imagining Allah to be like someone who is of the dunya. Allah is not like that. Allah can bring to account every single second in your life that you've done. May Allah save us. Then he goes back to Hajj now. وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْدُودَاتٍ. So like I told you last week, after the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, you got 11th, 12th and 13th. Now you have a choice. So you have to stay in Mina for at least 2 days. Allah says, once you're there in Mina for 2 days, وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ, remember Allah. Don't waste your time, don't play games, don't do these kind of other silly things. وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْدُودَاتٍ, in the numbered days. فَمَنْ تَعَجَّلَ فِي يَوْمَيْنِ, in these 2 days, 11th and 12th, whoever wants to go back home after the 11th and 12th, Allah calls it ta'ajjala. He hastens in the 2 days. Whoever wants to go home after the 12th, فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ, you can't blame them, there's no sin. They can go if they like. وَمَنْ تَأَخَّرَ, and whoever stays an extra day, whoever delays until the 13th. Whoever delays until the 13th, فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. Yeah, there's still no sin upon them. In other words, there's no sin upon a person who goes home early after the 12th, and there's no sin upon a person who stays after the 13th. Both are fine. Some people might want to stay because, their flight. Some people might want to go early because they want to catch up with their group. لِمَنِ اتَّقَى. But all of this is for those people who have taqwa. In other words, at the end of the day, you're the one that is monitoring yourself. Yeah, you monitor yourself. You look at what your intentions are, and based on that, Allah will accept your actions as well. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, and have taqwa of Allah. Shield yourself from Allah's azab. وَعَلَمُوا أَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْهِ تُحْشَرُونَ. And just like in Hajj, when all these masses of people come together, like that on the Day of Judgment, you've gone home now, but remember there's going to be another gathering you have to gather for. And you're going to be gathering to Him and Him only. Okay, next. Now, what happened was, when the Prophet ﷺ was in Medina, there were hypocrites there. So some of these people were very, very eloquent in their speech. And they would say things and they would claim things, and Muslims would become very impressed by their statements. Yeah, they were good at doing bayans basically. So Allah says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يُعْجِبُكَ قَوْلُهُ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. From amongst people, you'll get these people, يُعْجِبُكَ قَوْلُهُ. Their statements regarding worldly issues, or their statements in the world, will impress you. Wow, look at this guy. Look how he's just like, sometimes you watch on TV or you watch on the internet someone giving an amazing speech. Yeah, he's talking about a car, or he's trying advertisements, they're selling you something. Yeah, impresses you. So like that, Allah is saying there's some people out there who are very, very amazing in their speech. They can impress you. And on top of that, what does this person do? يُشْهِدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا فِي قَلْبِهِ. And he says to the people, I make Allah a witness of what's in my heart. Meaning, I truly want the best for you guys. So that's like nur ala nur. Yeah, you're thinking to yourself, this guy speaks so amazingly and he's so sincere. Look at that. He's saying he's speaking from his heart, and Allah knows what's in his heart. But do you know this? وَهُوَ أَلَدُّ الْخِصَامِ. This person, if you get on the wrong side of this person, he is the worst, aladdu, the worst enemy you can have. Ludud. Al-Khisam. Yeah, Khisam means someone who argues a lot. So this is a guy, yeah, he's all nice and everything. Once you get on the bad side of this guy has got a really bad temper. Yeah, that's a sign that this guy is not really a pious guy. So in front of you, he'll be doing one thing, and behind you, what does he do? إِذَا تَوَلَّى. Tawalla can mean two things in Arabic. Tawalla can mean to put your back. Yeah, to put your back towards someone. In other words, to turn away. So in other words, when he goes home, when he turns away, when he's not there in front of you. And the second could mean this. Tawalla means to take position in the society, to become an authority. Yeah, so he's got these amazing speeches, and then you vote for him. Yeah, and he becomes an authority. إِذَا تَوَلَّى. So okay, what does it mean then? The first meaning is this. When he turns away and he's behind closed doors, or he's away from public eye, سَعَى فِي الْأَرْضِ. This guy strives in the society, in the city, in the earth, to do what? لِيُفْسِدَ فِيهَا. To cause crime. This guy is just sweet on his tongue. Yeah, but his heart is filled with filth, and behind closed doors, this guy gets up to all sorts of corruption. And not only that, يُهْلِكُ الْحَرْثَ وَالنَّسْلَ. And this guy goes around striving, not just like doing it randomly, an accident. He actually puts an effort in to destroy harth and nasl. So the word harth here, harth. This can mean harth bima'na mahruth. Ism masdar bima'na ism maf'ul. Yeah. And nasl bima'na mansul. So harth, mahruth means the plants that grow, crops. And nasl is mansul, meaning progeny. So this guy behind closed doors is going around trying to destroy people's crops, trying to kill off people's progeny, whether that's human progeny or animal progeny. Yeah, maybe because of his own business. Yeah, so he goes around killing off the competitor. Yeah, so he gets more fame. That's one possibility. The other possibility is this. Harth is the masdar, nasl is the masdar. It means he actually goes around destroying the ability to grow things. Yeah, and he goes around destroying the ability for people to have progeny. Yeah, so for example, like imagine a multinational company that goes around to third world countries and destroys the land, puts chemicals in their land so their land can't grow anymore. Or he feeds the people some medicines, paramedicines, but then that medicine makes them infertile. Yeah, so this is what this guy does. Allah saying, you don't know what he does behind closed doors. You just see him on the media, and you just see he looks nice. He's got makeup on, and saying all these nice things for you, and you think, yeah, he must be a good guy. But in reality, when the camera goes off, this guy's a totally different person. You don't know what he gets up to. Looks like a lot of these companies do out there. Okay. So Allah is telling us this. Why? Because as Muslims, we need to be aware of our surroundings. We shouldn't be gullible. We shouldn't take things for face value all the time. Yeah, we should be people who are alert, vigilant all the time about what's happening in society. Wallahu la yuhibbul fasad. And remember, Allah does not love corruption in society. Yeah, fasad means a disorder, a break in the order. He doesn't like breaking order. Okay, now this guy, how do you recognize him like this? إِذَا قِيلَ لَهُ اتَّقِ اللَّهِ. This is a guy, when it is said to him, اتَّقِ اللَّهِ, have fear of Allah. Yeah. This is just like, it's not like you have to say اتَّقِ اللَّهِ. You can use other words as well. You can say to him, stop doing this. Be truthful. Yeah. أَخَذَتُ الْإِزَّةُ بِالْإِثْمِ. So because he's filled, this person is not sincere, he's filled with rage and anger and insincerity, and he's filled with arrogance. The arrogance, the pride gets to him in a sinful way. Yeah. So he turns around, starts abusing you, swearing at you. So sometimes you get this. Yeah. Someone very nice, wearing very nice shoes or boots, or drives a nice car, has got a big business or company, and you think he's a very good guy. But when you're in private with him and you correct him on something, he just turns around and becomes abusive to you, like that. Allah says, this guy, nothing's gonna solve, nothing's gonna sort him out. The only one thing that will suffice him is Jahannam. Yeah, hasbuhu Jahannam, leave him alone. Jahannam's gonna sort him out. Wala bi'sal mihad. And what an evil place for a rest. Mihad. Yeah, mahad means a place where a baby has a rest. The lap. So what an evil place Jahannam is. What a worse place a person could have. If Jahannam's the only thing that will calm this guy down, it means what an evil guy this must be. Okay, now, when you hear all of that, you begin to become despondent. You lose hope in mankind, society, and you think all these celebrities out there, all these, famous figures that we see on TV, politicians, we think they're all bad. Yeah, because in front of us they look nice, but behind closed doors we don't know what they're like. Allah says, no. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ. From amongst mankind are those people who yashri nafsahu, actually sell themselves to Allah. Meaning, how do you sell yourself to Allah? By obedience. So you're like a businessman, yeah, and you sell yourself to Allah by Allah gives you Jannah. That's the money, and the commodity you're giving is yourself, your effort. Man yashri nafsahu ibtigha. Why does he do it for? Seeking the pleasures of Allah, not just one pleasure. Salat is one pleasure, fasting is one pleasure, helping the orphans is one pleasure, being kind to society is another pleasure. So amongst mankind are those people who sell themselves to Allah, seeking the pleasures of Allah. Because every time you seek the pleasure of Allah, you will always be doing good for mankind. Every time you seek the pleasure of Allah, you will always be working for the betterment of mankind. Yeah, you can't be working in a negative way for mankind. Wallahu ra'ufun bil ibad. And remember, there's going to be people out there who are struggling their lives. Yeah, they're struggling to obey Allah. They work hard, they try their best, they don't have enough maybe income, they don't have much funds, they don't have much family support. Yeah? But still, Allah is watching. And Allah cares for His servants. Ra'ufun is used when you feel extremely sorry for someone's condition. Yeah, ra'fa. Yeah, so when you really feel sympathy for someone, Allah is extremely ra'uf, extremely kind, caring, merciful to His servants. Yeah, Allah is not going to leave them like that. So this is describing the Sahaba. Those amongst the Sahaba who were struggling and striving to worship Allah, left all their home and everything in Makkah, came to Medina. Yeah, and then you had them on one side, and on the other side you had arrogant hypocrites. Okay. Then after that, Allah says this. He changes the conversation now. Because remember, this is what happens. Sometimes when you become religious, you go for Hajj, yeah, and you come back and then you think, right, I've done the pinnacle in Islam, I've done the most I can do, and now what happens is he starts to cut corners in Islam. Yeah. So Allah says, don't cut corners. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O those who believe, udkhulu fi silmi kaffa. Silm, it means, like, it's originally used in a battle when you make a peace treaty with the enemy. Yeah, this is called a silm. So Islam is like a silm. You come into a peace contract. Because when you act upon Islam, you're saving yourself from the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Islam is like a submission. You submit yourself, silm, peace. But is it okay if you only pray Fajr? Is it okay if you only not swear in front of your family? Is it okay if you don't lie just to your friends? Is it okay if you don't backbite? No. Allah says, all of you enter into Islam. And number 2, enter into Islam fully. So this treaty you made with Allah, La ilaha illallah, this is a treaty you made down. This is like the signature you've done. Yeah, you have to enter into it in 2 ways. Number 1, everyone should enter into it. And number 2, enter into it completely fully. Why? What's the reason? If a person enters into Islam on his own, but his family, friends don't enter into Islam, what happens? It's extremely hard for him to worship Allah. Yeah, there are always going to be trials and tribulations from his family and friends. And likewise, if everyone accepts Islam, like you live in a community, predominantly Muslim community, what's the problem? Is that they're not all practicing Islam fully. They're practicing it according to convenience. Some do it on Saturdays, Sundays. Some do it on Fridays. Some do it in Ramadan when it comes. Some do it like when they just feel like it, when they put their hat on their head or a scarf on their head, they feel like practicing. No. Allah says you have to fully accept Islam. Fully enter into Islam. Udkhulu fi silmi kaffatan. Why? Because Shaitan knows this. Look, if there's a person who doesn't accept Islam, that at least that person knows later on that, you know what I'm doing is wrong. He feels that he's doing is wrong. But if there's a person who's accepted Islam, is in Islam, but doesn't practice Islam, but does a few things here and there, meets the Shaykh, he's got Shaykh's number and he speaks to Shaykh sometimes, he feels that, you know what, mashallah, I'm quite pious, I am. Yeah, because I met Shaykh in the mosque today, I gave him salam and he smiled at me. That means I'm okay, innit? So that kind of, it creates this bubble around you, a spiritual bubble. And you feel as though you're immune to anything else. Or you go out with Shaykh sometimes on weekends, yeah, for a meal here and there. Some people do that. Or they give Shaykh some like hadiyah or something. I give Shaykh hadiyah, mashallah. Give him some attar, give him some this and that. So then you think to yourself, you become blind of all the other bad things you do because the Shaykh never tells you. This is also bad as well. Because this is La tattabi'u khutuwat shaitan. Do not follow carefully the footsteps of shaitan. Look what he says. Khutuwat. What sigha is khutuwat? Jama muannat salim. And Jama muannat salim is usually used for when there's a few, like up to 9. Yeah, when there's a Jama up to 9. In other words, shaitan doesn't have that many steps. It's just a few steps you follow and then you get messed up. Yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3. Some people after the 6th step, some people 7th step, some people La tattabi khutuwati shaitan. So one of the ways you follow the footsteps of shaitan is when you do this kind of, cherry picking Islam. You act upon Islam whenever you feel like it. You practice whenever you feel like it. You do hijab whenever you feel like it. You save your tongue whenever you feel like it. You lower your gaze whenever you feel like it. You gamble whenever you feel like it. All those things. Yeah, Allah says no. Innahu lakum adu mubin. He is a clear enemy for you. Everyone knows that. Shaitan is so clear that your enemy on the battlefield might disguise himself, but Shaitan doesn't disguise himself. We know what he's up to. Yeah, and those kind of feelings that we get inside of committing a sin, just remember that's the whispers of Shaitan coming to you. Now, okay. What if after this, after all of this big speech that Allah has given, what if after this, someone might say, you know what, I go to a Sufa, I do. I'm in the 3rd year. I'm studying Quran. I can do tarkeeb of ayats. MashaAllah. I do Quduri. I do all these books. Yeah, look at me. Look at other people. Look, I'm much ahead of them. So you think to yourself, you're so ahead that even if you mess up, you still can get to the finish line before everyone else. Allah says no. In zalaltum. Look, if you slip, min ba'di ma ja'atkumul bayyinat, after clear signs have come to you, you know what's wrong, you know what you're not supposed to be doing. If you slip after that, if If you make this big slip and you follow shaitan's steps and you go off the track, فَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ, then know that Allah is almighty, all wise. In other words, you're not going to escape Allah. Doesn't matter what you do. And Allah is wise, meaning Allah is Aziz, that it doesn't matter where you get in life, Allah will always be more stronger than you. He will always be in a position that Allah can take you. Yeah, He can make you lose your job, lose your family, lose your honor, lose your respect in the community, lose your life even. Allah has that power. And He's Hakim. He does everything in a wise way. Yeah, so you might be thinking to yourself, but look how many years I've been getting away with it. Look how many years I've been cheating my friends. Look how many years I've been lying to people. Look how many years I've been backbiting and doing all these things and not protecting my gaze. Allah doesn't take you instantly. Allah has an appointed time for every single thing. Okay, we'll stop there. Everyone understand that? Okay, G. G, come on, what do you learn?